Welcome everybody. In today's class, we'll look at the meaning of absolute value by using a real number line. And okay, let's start with any real number x here. So the absolute value of x is the same as the distance between the point 0 and the point x. I'm talking about the distance right here. And this one exactly is the same as the meaning of absolute value of x. The notation we are using here is of the standard one for the absolute value. You need to add two vertical strokes on the left and the right side of x respectively. Okay, so let's look at some concrete examples from here. So what is the absolute value of 5? Absolute value of 5, you look at the point here 5, essentially I'm talking about the distance between the point 0 and the point 5, and definitely the length here, the distance between these 2 points is 5, which means that the absolute value is 5 here. So for the second example, maybe I can look at the absolute value of -2. What happens? You look at the point -2, absolute value of -2 is the same as finding the distance between the point 0 and the point -2, and distance is of course 2 here. So obviously this distance is again the same as the distance between the point 0 and the point 2, which means this distance 2 is the same as the absolute value of 2 here. I wish that from these two examples you can generalize them into the following facts. First, the absolute value of any number must be positive. It's simply because of the fact that the distance must be positive anyway. Second, for any integer a, no matter if you add the negative sign in front of a or not, it does not change the absolute value. I hope it is clear from the previous example. The absolute value of 2 must be the same as the absolute value of -2 because the distance is 2 anyway. So the last fact we'll look at is the meaning of the absolute value of a minus b. A and b can be any real number here. So this one is exactly the same as the distance between point A and point B on the real number line. So let's do some examples here. For example, let's do this one. What's the meaning of absolute value 2 minus 3? So you look at the 2 points, 2 and the point 3 respectively. I'm talking about basically the distance between these 2 points. Definitely this distance must be the same as 1 here. So it's 1 here, and that's the example we look at. And obviously if we look at the absolute value of 3 minus 2, you'll get the same answer, distance 1 here, because basically I'm really just talking about exactly the same thing. So from this simple example, I hope you can generalize it to the following fact here, that the absolute value of a minus b must be the same as the absolute value of b minus a for any number, any real number ab. So maybe the last part of the video we can do some examples. Let's look at this one. Absolute value of x is 3. You are required to find x here. So now absolute value of x equals 3 basically means that the distance between 0 and x is exactly 3. What does it mean on the real line here? It means that x, maybe possibly x can be maybe just 3, because now in this case the distance is exactly 3 here. Or there's a second choice, because if we look at the point minus 3, this distance is again 3 here. So it means that the answer to this problem is that x can be 3 or minus 3. It takes two solutions here. Then the next one, let's look at this example, absolute value of x minus 2 equals 5. By using the previous property that absolute value of x equals a implies x takes a or negative a as the solutions. So we go back to this case right here. Now it basically means that x minus 2 can be the same as 5, which is the positive answer here, or minus 5, which is the negative solutions here. So we can keep going from here. It means that there are two possibilities. X minus 2 equals 5. I believe you can solve that. It means that x equals 5 plus 2, which is 7. And or the second case, x minus 2 is now equal to minus 5. In this case, x equals minus 5 plus 2, which is negative 3. So this problem means that x takes two possibilities, 7 or -3 here. So these are just two simple examples for solving the equation involving absolute value. I hope you can learn something here, and that's the end of this video regarding absolute value. So thank you everybody.